Ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Sabres season is kicking off on January 14th in a home game against Alexander Ovechkin and the Washington Capitals. In today's video, I predict who will be in that opening night lineup, starting with the forwards. In the offseason, head coach Ralph Krueger did say that Taylor Hall will be with Jack Eichel. So with that in mind, I am putting those two together on the first line. The tricky part, though, is figuring out who could be the right winger on this line. The Sabres have the dependable Sam Reinhart, second-year player Victor Olofsson, Tage Thompson, and 8th overall pick Dylan Cozens. Honestly, this is a good problem for the Sabres because even if they go with one player, there's still enough depth down the lineup. For the first line, though, I think the Sabres should go with sniper Victor Olofsson. Olofsson and Eichel were a good combo last season, so let's keep that going this season. On the second line, winger will be Jeff Skinner. At center is the new guy, Eric Stahl. And once again, the most difficult part of this line to predict was right winger. And here I decided to go with a bit of a outcast, Tage Thompson. Honestly, it's still believable that it's too early to thrust Dylan Cozens into the top 6 of an NHL lineup. So I went with the slightly older and more prepared Tage Thompson. Now on to the third line, and here there is less debate as to who would be on this line. The most controversial pick was at left winger, where I put soon-to-be bust Casey Middlestat. He needs to show some progress this year, otherwise the Sabres could be letting him go, or even letting him walk to Seattle. At center is another new boy, Cody Eakin, and at right winger is Sam Reinhart. I am putting Reinhart on the third line, not because he is significantly worse than Olofsson and Thompson, but for him this is his chance to finally carry a line. I believe that his defensive abilities are better suited for the third line than the likes of Tage Thompson and Dylan Cozens, or their lack thereof of defensive abilities. This should be a much better third line than last year's third line. And now for the fourth line. This line remains relatively the same, barring one change where we subtracted Johan Larsson and inserted Curtis Lazar. But Zemgus Girgensson at left winger and Kyle Poster at right winger are both the same. They should be a defensive-minded line that will hopefully shut down the likes of Ovi, Sidney Crosby, and other opponents that the Sabres will have to face this upcoming season. And now we've reached the defensive core, which I think won't look all that different from last year. On the first pairing will be Rasmus Dahlin on the left and Brandon Montour on the right. For the second pairing, I didn't want to put Ristolainen on the first pairing, so he went down to the second. And he goes with the always underrated Jake McCabe. And now the third and final pairing will be Colin Miller and Henry Jokiharju, with Miller looking to mesh better in Ralph Krueger's system than he did last year. And with Jokiharju, he just needs a solid partner because he is not ready to be a top 4 defenseman just yet. And finally, at the goaltending position, I put Linus Ullmark over the vision-impaired Carter Hutton, well, for obvious reasons. Hutton has been relatively a failure with the Sabres, and it is about time Ullmark becomes a workhorse for the Buffalo Sabres. Now, something new for NHL teams this season is that a taxi squad, a group of a minimum of 4 and a maximum of 6 players, can travel with the team in practice, but not play in actual games. They can be called up, and they are basically a practice squad like in the NFL. For our purposes, I will go with the maximum 6 players on the Sabres practice squad, and those 6 are Dylan Cozens, center and right winger, Jonas Johansson, a goalie, penalty killer Tobias Reeder, AHO/borderline NHL defenseman Matt Irwin, winger Arttu Ruotsalainen, and defenseman Will Borgen. Now that you've seen who I think will be on the Sabres this season, tell me in the comment section, who do you think will be on the Sabres opening night roster? Thanks for watching and see y'all in the next video.